Conference, Linda Hobson, moving the composite on behalf of my union, UNISON. And Conference, what an absolute pleasure it is to be here in Liverpool with a new government in power, a new Labour government. After 14 long years of Tory failure, it had begun to feel like we'd never get to celebrate this day, but here we are, and well done to every single one of you who helped make this happen. The politicians, the party members and activists, and yes, us, the trade unions. When it came down to it on 4th of July, the public agreed with us. They agreed that we had to draw a line under the chaos in Downing Street. The pathetic attempts to focus on endless, divisive culture wars and the destruction that had been meted out on our public services. Conference. All of our public services are now confronted with major problems. As a result of Tory austerity, their ideological fixation on prioritisation, but arguably no sector has been worse affected than social care, where we have had a toxic combination of years of chronic underfunding, a hugely fragmented system and companies free to bleed services dry in pursuit of endless profits, all of which has left hundreds of thousands of elderly and disabled people unable to access the care they need. Meanwhile, the social care workforce has been decimated. There are more than 130,000 vacancies in the sector. But this should come as no surprise, where we have a quarter of the workforce on 0 hours contracts, where nearly half are paid less than the real living wage. And Conference, too many care workers still don't have access to proper sick pay, something that we saw play out with the terrible consequences during COVID pandemic. So Conference, on the 4th of July, the public voted for change, the change that they found in big Labour manifesto commitments like the New Deal for working people, greater public ownership in energy and transport, and commitments to real action in neglected public services such as social care. As a result, we have the pledge to develop the National Care Service, something that will bring certainty and consistency to a sector that has a precious little of this for far too long. And we also have the commitment to produce a fair pay agreement to be negotiated between unions and employers, setting fair pay terms and conditions for all social care staff, along with training standards, something which has the potential to be an absolute game changer for those working and dependent on the sector. Conference, there is a real consensus across the social care sector that reform has to begin with the workforce. So it is right that the government is prioritising the fair pay agreement. As the Prime Minister has said, this has to be the foundation stone of the National Care Service. So we know that the campaign for this is not over, and we will keep fighting. Thank you.